Hi there, this is Carl Polachuk with Small Biz Thoughts, and this is another SOP video for managed service providers. In the last video, which is linked here, we talked about hardware policies. Today we're going to talk about software policies. In particular, which software policies will help you to guarantee that things don't break. That's the key to making money with managed services. If you think about it, when you charge people up front and say, oh, it's so much a month to maintain your systems, it costs you money when things break. That's the beauty of it. You and the client have the same motivation. Don't make things break. Don't let things break. I like to encourage people to have a philosophy about hardware and software. In other words, go to the client and use the words, we like to see. We like to see people replace their hardware once every 3 years. We like to see the operating system and the hardware be of the same generation. Those kinds of things let the client know that you have a policy about these things and not just do whatever they ask you to do. The clients want you to be a consultant. That's why they're paying you so much money, right? So have policies, have a philosophy about hardware and software. Ask them to follow that. They will respect it and they'll probably do what you want. So what are the most important successful software policies? Well, I already alluded to one, and that is that the hardware and the software should be from the same generation. What that means is we're not going to put an old operating system on brand new hardware. Why? Well, simply because the old operating system probably doesn't have the right drivers. And then you have to go glom on drivers on top of that, and it may not ever actually be able to recognize all of the features of the new hardware. At the same time, we won't put a new operating system on old hardware. So many times problems come because people are buying a brand new piece of software, an operating system, and then they want to stick it on a 5-year-old piece of hardware. Well, there's just a mismatch there. Again, you're not going to have all the right drivers, or it may be outdated. There's just all kinds of problems with it. The more you can be disciplined to avoid a mismatch between the generation of the operating system and hardware, the fewer problems you're going to have. Next, have consistent versions of the operating system and software across the office. Again, this is something clients already know. If you've got the same version of Office everywhere, or maybe one previous generation, then at least there's consistency in the office and everybody knows how to use all the equipment. If you've got the same version of Microsoft Office across the office, it makes it easier to pass files around. You don't have to worry about versioning and so forth. If you skip more than one generation, then you begin to have trouble, especially with things like Microsoft Access. Now, in terms of what you sell, I recommend that you only sell the latest operating system. I admit that means that we were stuck selling Windows 8 for a while, and it just is what it is. But you need to support the latest operating system because it gives the highest value to the clients. There's always a problem where people say, oh, I don't like the new operating system because it looks different and it feels different and things have moved and blah, blah, blah. That's all true, but in the big picture, you never know when the operating systems are going to stop and freeze for like 3 years, which happens, from time to time. I love Windows 10 much better than Windows 8. I'm happy to sell Windows 10. I like Windows 7 even better, but I sell Windows 10. It is the newest, it's the latest, it's the greatest, it's the thing to sell. And it saves money in the long run and fewer things break. And remember, my job here is to make as much money as possible. So even if I don't think it's the greatest operating system ever, remember, clients mostly don't care. If you ask your clients, how do they like the new operating system? They will frequently say, I didn't really notice any difference, because they don't. They use it differently than you do. They're not power users. Finally, you need a policy about patches, fixes, and updates, and that includes service packs. So what we do is we make sure that we apply all the patches, fixes, and updates as quickly as possible, except service packs. Everything else, what we do is we put it on our machines within a week after it's released, and then, assuming nothing blows up, we put it on client machines over the weekend. So we use an RMM agent. We happen to use Max Focus right now, but whatever you use a professional RMM agent, remote monitoring and management system. It will patch everything all at once, and if there's a problem, you can unpatch everything all at once and then repatch it when the fix is released. It saves you tons and tons and tons of money. I would never be in this business, even with one client, and not use an RMM. They're so incredibly cheap, and they just save you thousands of hours of labor. More importantly, when the systems are patched, fixed, and updated, almost nothing ever breaks. The things that break are going to be the clients telling you, oh, I broke my own system. Okay, well, clearly that's a billable issue because they're not supposed to be messing with their system. Service packs, slightly different story. What we do is usually wait a month after the service pack is released. At that point, it's on so many millions of desktops that if there's an issue, they're going to know about it, and they may have put out an update already. So again, just have that philosophy about what you want to do. Tell clients, we like to see, and they're going to appreciate the fact that you have a philosophy of how you like to see hardware and software managed. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Polachuk wishing you all the luck in your managed service business.